All right. Here we are. The Canadian Bro Show. My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show. And that clip that you're watching is our latest extraordinary episode 63 on the Canadian Bro Show. And my name is Paul Bale. I'm the host of the founder of the Canadian Bro Show. And this extremely handsome, in the photo, he's not wearing a toque. And I always say that people that lose their hair, if you've got a good head for being bald, you're lucky. And Johnny not only has a good head, he has a good angular body and face. And he's actually quite handsome. And you can imagine if he had hair, it'd even be more handsome. But you notice that people that don't have hair on the top of their head usually have it below their head. It's funny how that works out. Johnny?
It comes out my nose.
Oh, my nose hairs are white, bro. So that's a whole different ballgame. Anyways, welcome to the Canadian Bro Show, Johnny. How are things in Vancouver?
It's a beautiful day. It's remarkably warm for January. Maybe there is something to this global warming business after all. I think it's 10 degrees outside, which is nuts for January.
It is,
and I uploaded another Lee Hacklin mystery today. I'm a self-published author. This one is called Centerfold Player, and I based it on the life of Dorothy Stratton. Who's a gal from Vancouver who was unfortunately tragically taken far too soon. How's your day going? You're a little under the weather today, bro.
I caught a flu bug or a cold bug from my new neighbors downstairs. As when the heating comes up, I'm upstairs. So the young man, he's a really nice chap, of my tenants and friends downstairs. I call them neighbors instead of tenants. He'd been coughing for the last week, and it was coming right up through my air duct vent into my studio. And sharing is caring, and I got it. But I'm fighting it hard. You know what I did last night? I ate 14 mandarins in a period of an hour, just to make sure I got enough. Oh no, they're delicious. Just to make sure I got enough vitamin C into the system, and I had a good sleep and feeling better. Again, it's really happy to have everybody back at the Canadian Bro Show. Johnny and I have been doing a series called the Cinema Series, where we review movies. It's part of the Canadian Bro Show, and what we do at Johnny is episode 63 is all things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny, and we like to do a nice deep dive into Canadian pop culture. And the video that you saw briefly, and you'll see at the end anyways, is because Johnny and I are so popular that Canada doesn't have a Siskel and Ebert anymore. So the word is... That's lovely, eh?
Garlic.
I think a piece came up, but I put my mouth over mouth, so not to gross anyone out. I'm just battling through this, so forgive me if I do cough. I got tea. Of course.
Bless you.
One sec.
Of course, once the show starts, you start coughing. That's how life works.
It's that's certainly my life. At the end of the day, the episode 63 is Johnny brought this up, and we talked about it previously. We're going to be doing a cinema review of movies that have a twist.
Twist.
And Johnny, would you like to start off your first episode? Talk about movies with a twist. Why did you bring this up?
Well, because I think that we all like to watch a movie that has an unexpected ending.
Excuse me.
And I'm going to start with one of my all-time favorites, which is a movie that really gobsmacked me back in the day. 2019's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. Mm-hmm. The film follows a fading actor and it played by Leonardo DiCaprio and his adrenaline junkie stunt double, played by Brad Pitt. They're actually doing a sequel. Tarantino's producing it around this character as they navigate the rapidly changing film industry with the threat of the Tate murders looming. This movie is based on a true story, the very tragic killing of Sharon Tate, who was an actress. She was murdered by the followers of Charles Manson, who was the leader of a crazy, murderous, sick cult. And they killed many other people, and it was just awful. So I went to this movie with mixed feelings. I went because I'm a Quentin Tarantino fan, and I like his movies, but I was like, is this movie going to glorify Charles Manson, who's one of the worst men who ever lived, like right up there with Hitler? Because you kind of wonder about his sense of humor. But actually, I don't want to give away the ending. I don't know if we're going to do spoilers, but this movie.
No spoilers.
This movie is called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because it is a somewhat fanciful retelling and of an actual event. The last 50 minutes of this movie is absolutely mind-blowing with the flamethrower, and oh my God, it's just one of the greatest payoffs of all time. It actually left the theater I actually felt like applauding and cheering. It was just a wonderful alternate reality of how things could have gone. And Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, it really have a great chemistry. And do you remember the scene where they're watching the episode of the FBI and they're just sitting in the trailer and Leo's playing like a drug dealer or something on an old show that we remember as kids called the FBI, and they're just kind of doing a commentary as they're watching the episode. Just a couple of guys hanging out watching a TV show. It's a really fun. Some people found it to be slow paced, but it was set during the 70s, and so 70s movies had a different kind of pacing.
Yeah,
and that's my first choice. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If you haven't seen this movie, you really should, because it's really good.
Yeah, and excellent choice, Johnny. And it took me a while to see it. I'm a huge fan of Tarantino, like yourself. I've seen all of his films, and I've actually seen almost all of the films he loves and recommends, because Johnny and I have been at this when Videomatica was open in Kitsilano on 4th Avenue back in the 70s. And we used to watch every VHS tape in that store, go through it alphabetically. Not at the same time, of course, but they knew our names. And it's a great film, and I caught it later, and it was a slow burn to start, and I'm curious to see what the second one, like, maybe it's going to be a second one that's going to be kind of like Kill Bill 1 and 2, of which I believe you mentioned in one of our previous episodes that Tarantino's putting them both together and adding a whole bunch of extra juice.
It's going to be called Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, and it's coming out later this year, and it's both movies smooshed together. Apparently it's going to have 4-hour running length, and we'll have some deleted footage that we have not seen before, including the epic fight scene, which I have seen between David Carradine and Michael Jai White, which is really cool.
Carradine, rest in peace, died shortly thereafter of asphyxiation, which is quite a common way for celebrities to die, apparently in the back of a hotel room door. I'm not really sure why that's the favorite way to go, but maybe there's some sort of, nefarious deal behind that. We won't go there. That's for another episode. Maybe not another episode. But on to the next. When Johnny suggested this episode, and we both are film, like, I think this is our 7th episode we've done on cinema review, movie reviews, whatever you want to call it. It's evolving. And I had to go back to a movie that I couldn't remember the name, and I watched it. One of my favorite directors is Christopher Nolan, of course. Top 10 director in the history of film, in my opinion. Always makes incredible cinematic masterpieces. It's the evolution of the word, of cinematography, of sound, of set design, of creating an illusion of a masterpiece. Even as you're watching it, you know it's a masterpiece, but you're so enthralled with what's going on, you're not really paying attention to really what's going on. And this movie is, seriously, from the start of the movie to the end, is a total twist. And before I get into it, it's called The Prestige in 2006 by director Christopher Nolan. And check this out. Scarlett Johansson, Michael Caine, David Bowie, Hugh Jackman, and Christian Bale, to name just the major players.
Michael Caine.
I did mention Michael Caine.
Oh, sorry. And
it's okay. And it's about two magicians battling it out against each other to see who can be the best. And what goes on. It's an absolute masterpiece. If you haven't seen it, if it slipped through the cracks and you want to be enthralled for over 2 hours, you have to check this movie out and pay attention to what's going on, because the director, he manages to bring all of these amazing actors and great writing and cinematography and set design and everything, because he's showing you what is unfolding right in front of you the whole film, but you need to pay attention to figure it out. He's challenging the audience, and it is one of the best surprise movies. I've only seen it once, and normally I'll see a movie that I enjoyed so much multiple times.
Yeah, same here.
But this thing needs 3 hours of your day just to adjust to what the heck is really going on. Amazing film, 10 out of 10, classic. See it.
Same here. Okay, well, I'm going to go with another Christopher Nolan movie, who is obviously one of our favorite directors. And
Yes.
this one is 2005's Batman Begins, who co-wrote the screenplay with David Goyer. The film stars Christian Bale, again, as Batman/Bruce Wayne. The film reboots the Batman film series, telling the origin story of Bruce Wayne. I mean, in every single detail, we learn the origin of the cape, the Batmobile, the Batcave, the belt, the Batarang, the whole shebang, and it's not boring for 1 second.
None.
From the death of his parents, the journey to become a Batman, and his fight to stop Ra's al Ghul and the Scarecrow. I think the Scarecrow is my favorite Batman villain. Remember Cillian Murphy? Remember that mask, that creepy mask that he wore? Unbelievable. As they try to stop from plunging Gotham City into chaos. Now, we're not doing spoilers, but this movie does have a really cool twist where one of the leading characters, who we think is an ally of Batman, actually turns out to be the head mastermind. And I didn't see it coming, and it was really cool. I loved it. Liam Neeson, fantastic cast.
Oh my God. I mean, you know, and the thing about these movies, like Johnny and I have seen all of them. You've probably seen them too, but the reason why it's important that we review these masterpieces, especially the films that really have a twist or multiple twists, and you think you're enjoying a film and all of a sudden, boom, it switches 1, 2, 3. And then by the end, you don't even know where you are. You don't even know what theater you're in or what city you're in, because you've just been manipulated for the last 2.5 hours by someone that's highly intellectual and very, very good at mastering the art of cinema. So great choice, Johnny. I'm going to have to go on and go to probably, you know, when I thought about this, God, we've seen so many movies, man, but I actually watched this movie after the fact. It was The Usual Suspects in 1995. Now, that's a long time ago, bro. That's like, 30 plus years ago.
Kaiser Soze.
Exactly, but there's no spoiler situations in this show. As we mentioned in the prelim, in case you forgot. And the Usual Suspects, possibly the greatest twist monologue ever put on film. We'll just leave it at that. I don't want spoiler. You need to see this film. If you're too young or too old and you want to kill 3 hours of your night and be blown away by some of the best filmmaking you've ever seen, watch The Usual Suspects. The acting is extraordinary. It's an ensemble cast.
Great cast.
The direction is unbelievable. And I didn't know what the hell was going on until the last 2 minutes of the film. And that is rare for me, because usually I can pick this up. I had no idea until the last minute of the film. And it was, in my opinion, probably the best film I had seen that year. And it stands the test of time 30 years later. If you want to see an incredible, well-written, well-directed, well-produced, and the acting is extraordinary, high level, A+. Check this movie out. It is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece of the movies with a serious twist. In this case, multiple twists.
There you go. Okay, very cool. I'm going to go with another Tarantino film, actually his first movie, which is 1992's Reservoir Dogs. Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, Chris Penn, Steve Buscemi, Lawrence Tierney, Michael Madsen as diamond thieves whose heist of a jewelry store goes terribly wrong. Man, does it ever. The film incorporates many motifs that have become Tarantino's hallmarks: violent crime, pop culture references. Oh, there are a plethora of pop culture references in all his films. Profanity and non-linear storytelling.
And don't forget ultra-violence.
Yeah. Now, the twist in this movie, no, I'm not giving it away, Paul. One of the dogs, one of the jewel thieves, actually turns out to be an undercover police officer. And the payoff, where we discover which one it is glorious. I mean, it is really one of the most... I remember seeing this movie remember the Royal Centre in Vancouver back in the day? It was 10 cinemas. And I love
the Royal Centre.
And they were about the size of the studio. They were like... Some of the theaters had like 50 seats. They were these. Really
it was like the Cornet. Do you remember the Cornet 1 and 2? Sure, and the Cornet 2 was maybe 100 seats.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, but 10 different options.
And the story of how Reservoir Dogs got made is quite remarkable. Tarantino was an acting student. He was trying to be a writer. He wrote the screenplay, and he gave it to Harvey Keitel's wife, who was one of his acting partners.
That's right, man.
He gave it to Harvey Keitel. He liked it, and he said, "You know what? I can get this movie made, and I'll do it for almost virtually nothing. The only condition is you have to make me co-producer." And boom. It's a real Cinderella story.
Once he got co-producer, he didn't have to worry about the acting. He took a piece of the action on the sales. Smart.
Yeah. And this Reservoir Dogs was the first movie that I ever saw based on the poster. I just remember walking down Quentin Tarantino. Who the hell is this? A cool name. And I remember the 6 or 7 guys, and they're all wearing matching suits. And I thought, man, I have got to see this movie. That's the first time I ever saw a movie just based on the poster. And I didn't regret it. I've seen it many times since. And again, the non-linear storytelling is really cool because it forces you to pay attention and it forces you to keep up. And Tarantino really is one of the best film writers of all time, in my opinion. So that's my next
and
point.
director. And director.
And apparently the origin of Reservoir Dogs, Tarantino worked at a video store, if anybody remembers video stores, for 10 years. And one of the most popular movies was Au revoir les enfants, which is a French film. And he pronounced it, he could never pronounce it. He pronounced it Reservoir Dogs. So that's the origin of the title.
Isn't that interesting? And another little side note on that, his first screenplay that he wrote that he tried to sell in Hollywood was actually True Romance,
right?
Which ended up being one of my favorite films, just a classic. But he couldn't get it done, so then he handed in this B-grade Reservoir Dog, and they liked it better, and that's what started his whole career. And then as soon as he finished Reservoir Dogs, he released True Romance, and of course it never stopped from there. Yeah. Just a phenomenal movie.
Natural Born Killers too.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on. We could do a whole. We've talked in the series we've probably done 6, 7 cinema review movies with Pauly and Johnny on the Canadian Bro Show in the last 13 months, and we will continue to do more because it's one of the pop culture aspects we like to focus on because we're both film buffs. And both to a lesser degree, Johnny's a great writer. I used to be an actor and model and all that stuff. We just love movies. And the next one I'm going to bring up is probably...
Bless you.
Please forgive me. I'm trying to battle through this.
Super.
I'm trying to battle through it, and at the end of the day, I just don't like to miss episodes. And Johnny, my co-host of the most and friend of over 53 years, is the only person I know in the world, and I'm sure there's others, but certainly not like Johnny, who actually has his own private studio in the Vancouver Library, downtown Vancouver. Nobody else has that. And in order for us to continue to do our show, I'm in Kelowna, Johnny's in Vancouver. I live in Vancouver and Kelowna, but I'm in Kelowna for a variety of reasons. And Johnny's here, and this is the way that we can continue to build our show. And he's only been kicked out of the studio twice in about 65 episodes.
Everything comes in threes, right?
Yeah, and he's only broken down once, and the alarm has gone off twice. And he's almost been assaulted once, but here we are. We just keep on grinding. And
in case anybody's wondering.
Right? So my next choice is really quite a dark and brutal and unforgivable film. And the director, the movie's called Seven, 1995, with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. I believe David Fincher also directed this.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
No.
And I love David Fincher. He is fantastic. He's not in my top 10, but he's in the top 20. And the final reveal is really quite, it's not simple. It's devastating.
It is.
It's legendary. It's brutal. And it's another one of these movies that I was captivated from the beginning of this film to the very end. And when they unleashed the very end, I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, it's
like, dude, you remember it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, if you guys haven't seen it, 1995, there's people that might watch the show and you're too young or you're too old or you've seen it, but you haven't seen it in a while. You want to be kind of like psychologically thriller scared for 3 hours, make some popcorn, and just disappear, check it out. It's a masterpiece. 10 out of 10.
Okay, very good. That is a great movie. Okay, well, this movie is not as great, but it has a great ending. I'm going to go with an M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, believe it or not, a 2004 American period thriller written, produced, and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, very prolific writer. It stars Bryce Dallas Howard, Mamma Mia, what a gal, Joaquin Phoenix, Adrian Brody, William Hurt, Sigourney Weaver, and Brendan Gleeson. The story is about a village whose population lives in fear of creatures inhabiting the woods beyond it. Look, this is not M. Night Shyamalan's best movie, but I still think it's worth checking out. The twist, which I will not reveal, I think is amazing.
Pardon me, quick hint. If you say his name again, M.
Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, does he have a good movie?
He has many good movies.
Really?
They're on my list. Couple more.
Wow, I think he's vastly overrated, but that's just my opinion.
He's hit and miss. Look, like I said, this is not.
He's more miss, bro.
It has its dead spots, but there are some chilling moments, and the ending is a real gobsmacker. And the way that they keep the people in the village is they have some of the people living in the village dress up as monsters, and they're like roaming around the woods.
Oh, no spoiler remote. Listen, yeah, it is.
No spoiler. No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
The twist is the ultimate spoiler, which I have not revealed.
Okay, well, don't share that either. Just it's better when we're doing a review. Just don't share any of the details. People haven't seen this movie. Let them decide. Like, I mean, that's how we always done that, Johnny. Oh,
there's a scene where Bryce Dallas Howard, she's trying to leave the village, and she looks at a tree, and suddenly the tree starts running towards her, and my head just hit the ceiling.
Spoiler alert! That's 2 in a row. Okay, enough is enough. That might be only one of 5 spoiler good in that film. I think it was a 6 out of 10 on a good day, personally. But
okay, 6.5.
Whatever. I respect Johnny, and you might like it. And it is a good twist. Good? Okay, whatever.
Not on your top 10, I'm guessing.
Actually, no. On one of my lists I created, I did 20 in my research, and it came up a couple of times. The Sixth Sense is another one of his. And it's garbage. Honestly, it's flaccid compared to a lot of these others, and it pales in comparison to this next one I'm going to mention. But this is not a direct reflection on Johnny's talent. I do understand why he brought it up. I almost brought it up, but I knew Johnny would bring it up. I've got a list of films, a top 10. I've got 20 in my case, because Johnny and I have very similar tastes in movies. And when we focus on this, more often than not, he'll pick one that I picked, and I'll pick one that he picks. So I got to have backup, right? So it's a good one. It's not for everyone, but it is well done. And I actually, like I say, 6 out of 10, 60% is pretty good.
There you go.
Next one, 2000, is a film. When I first watched it, I didn't know what was going on. When the movie finished, I was like, I'm either tired, drunk and high, drunk and high, or really tired, or I'm not paying attention. I watched this entire movie and I was like, what the what is going on? I had to watch it again, and I'm a little slower than others depending on what's going on in the system at that time. I just didn't know what the hell was going on. I love Guy Pearce. The movie's called Memento.
Oh yeah,
in 2000, and Guy Pearce is one of my favorite actors. He's phenomenal. And this movie was essentially, I finally figured it out, was told completely backward from the start of the movie. Forward and sideways. The ending has hits differently, and every time you watch it, depending if you're watching the director's cut. The director's cut.
Your lucidity.
I'm telling you, man, it is such a mind fuck. And it's incredible. But once I figured it out, it's an absolute masterpiece. And by the way, is that Nolan again?
Yes. Guy Pearce's character has a short-term memory, a cognitive disability.
Right.
So he has to write stuff down all the time. And
on his hands, on books, on walls, on his bathroom.
I don't remember, ironically, I don't remember that movie very well. But there was one scene where Carrie Ann Moss gives him some really important information, and he's
Johnny
like,
really likes Carrie Ann Moss. She's Canadian.
and he's like, he can't find his notebook, he can't find his pen, and he's losing his mind because he knows he's going to forget, and it's so eerily suspenseful. Like the camera's shaking around as he's frantically trying to find his notebook so that he'll. I think he's trying to find the murder of his wife. Was that the story?
Well, that was the whole purpose of the. I mean, from what I've seen it like 5 times. Took me 5, but I believe so. Yeah, that was the.
That is a great choice. It almost made my list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, excellent. What do you got?
I'm going to go with another from your all-time favorite director, M. Night Shyamalan. This one is 2000s. 2000s.
Christopher Nolan is. If you put Christopher Nolan and M. Night Shyamalan in the same thing, come on, man. It's not even close.
M. Night Shyamalan certainly made a lot more movies than I have. I'll just leave it at that.
Wow.
Okay, 2000s American superhero thriller film, Unbreakable. Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Robin Wright, David Dunn, who has an alliterative name, as many comic book characters do, survives a train crash with no injuries, leading to the realization that he harbors superhuman abilities. As he begins to grapple with this discovery, he comes to the attention of a disabled comic book store owner, Elijah Price, who manipulates David to understand him. This movie is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's about a security guard who's a superhero. It's almost my autobiography.
Kind of like you, eh?
One of my mind's eye, anyway.
No, you are. In my mind's eye, you are.
Thank you. I think if a camera followed me around all day, I could have my own Marvel franchise.
Honestly, I could do a series of shorts on your job and film you when I'm in Vancouver, and we could put it on the show.
That would be it wouldn't be boring, trust me.
No, I'm just wondering if that's allowed. I would happy to do that just to showcase what you do, because people have no idea. Overworked, underpaid, underappreciated, and Johnny is 36 years later is still freaking grinding.
Started in 1985. Unbreakable has one of my absolute all-time favorite scenes where Bruce Willis, he's realizing that for whatever reason, it's never explained, he has superpowers. He has unnatural abilities. Mm-hmm. And he's walking through Grand Central Station, and the music by James, what's his name? James Howard? I can't remember right now. He's building and building. And he's touching people, not in a creepy way. He's just sort of brushing by people. And he can see all the bad things.
Their bad karma.
And then finally he touches the last person, and he realizes that this guy has kidnapped 2 young girls.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. It's one of the greatest payoffs in cinema history, in my opinion. Grateful. It's in my top 10 list of all-time favorite movies.
Really?
Oh,
I might have to check that out again, bro.
So many times. And I would watch that movie right now.
Wow.
And the twist in this movie, and I know I'm not going to spoil it, but a lot of people the twist didn't make any sense. It absolutely made sense. They didn't get it. The theme of this movie is that David Dunn, he denies his gifts for so many years, and during that time he's very depressed, and he wants to leave his wife, and he wants to leave his son and get another job. But once he accepts himself and discovers what he can do, his depression lifts, and finally he starts to feel good about himself, better late than ever. I think it's a wonderful message. It's very uplifting.
Wow. I think by that description alone, I'm going to have to check that film out again. And I've seen it. It's been a while. And
remember where he's lifting weights at home, and his son keeps adding more weight and more weight, and he's got like 20 plates. And he's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I actually thought that was fake. I thought there was like a dream sequence or something. I don't know what's going on, but the next one, and you'll see by mine, I seem to be talking about the same directors, but these guys are really, really incredible. And the next one I want to talk about is The Fight Club, 1999, a cultural phenomenon with one of the most famous identity twists in cinema history. Now, I don't want to spoil the remotes in this, but, Brad Pitt is one of my favorite actors, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. The whole film, and this film is Fincher as well?
Yes.
Once again, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought it was just a violent film, a bunch of guys that like to beat the crap out of each other for money. And they were indebted, they were addicts, they were mafioso, who knows. It was very violent, but I had no idea the depth. And this is why I'm focusing on a couple of directors right now, and Johnny has as well, this is how they bring you along. The master works of producing and directing and putting together one of the best stories you've ever heard on a huge budget is probably one of the most difficult things you could ever imagine in the world. But when you do it right, magic unfolds in front of you. And the fight is not I don't like fighting. I've been in a lot of fights in my life, and I'm not into violence, but I've had to be violent in many of the fights I've had, because my grandfather told me one time when I was very young, and I came to him and I was like a little kid and I was kind of crying or just moaning, and my gramps looked at me and he said, "Shut up. Listen to me.
That's awesome.
Look at me. Sit down. If somebody ever enters your space," and we're talking about a retired major from the Canadian Princess Patricia in the Second World War and Korean War, and no nonsense chap, Catholic Irish, growing up in with 5 brothers and 1 sister, and poor in Winnipeg. People have no idea what's going on, but dude just looked at me and he gave me that stern look. He goes, "If anybody invades your space, place your feet in a position of balance and look at where this person's attacking you and punch him directly on top of the nose and between the eyes and break his nose."
Wow.
One punch.
Great grandfather.
And I was like, "Seriously? You've done that?" He goes, "I can't tell you how many times." And most of them, my grandfather told me he did it to his brothers, because they were all like these Irish Catholic, hormone, they're all in the Second World War, and all of them died. They were all, my gramps, I was with my gramps until he was 96. In the last 6 months, my wife and I took care of him with my mom here in Kelowna, and he would tell these stories. And when he scared the shit out of me, when he sat me down and said, "This is what you do." First time it happened, St. Augustine's, one of my best friends comes up and has to threaten me in front of everyone at lunchtime. And Grandpa came in and he said, "Just get your balance, take a step back, look where you're going to pop him, and take a shot." I broke the guy's nose in 2 seconds. I've never seen so much blood come out of that kid's nose.
Get him a body bag!
I'm telling you, his name was Michael Clark. I liked him. He was a friend. And I was so embarrassed, and there was so much blood that I helped him back to the nurse's office.
That's really sweet.
And they asked and said, "What happened?" I said, "Oh, he tripped on the stairs and fell on his face." I lied. Catholic school. Anyways, the Fight Club. Watch it to the end, because it's a crazy twist.
It is. It's great.
Excuse me. Sorry, Johnny.
Okay, I'm going to go in a slightly different direction. 1987. I forgot about this movie. When I saw it online, I remember how much I enjoyed it.
That's why we do these shows.
1987's Angel Heart, neo-noir psychological horror film adaptation of William, I cannot pronounce his last name, Hjortsberg's, I guess he's Swedish, 1978 novel Falling Angel. The film is written and directed by Alan Parker. This guy has had an amazing...
Another great director.
Absolutely. Lisa Bonet, Robert De Niro, Charlotte Rampling. Let's see now. I was actually an extra in this movie. No, not Angel Heart. Heart of the Dragon. I'm thinking of another movie. Never mind.
Angel Heart's a whole different ballgame. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Harry Angel, played by Mickey Rourke, a New York City private investigator, is hired to solve the mysterious disappearance of a singer known as Johnny Favorite. Love that name.
Yeah.
His investigation takes him to New Orleans. Don't mean to be stereotypical. Where he becomes embroiled in a series of brutal murders. The ending of this film is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Really got
Robert De Niro as a devil. It's incredible.
Well, he plays, his character's name is Louis Cypher. It's a little on the nose. Satan. The Devil. Jr.
Oh, I know. It's incredible, eh?
And it's a little bit comical that...
Who was the director in that?
Alan Parker.
The British director.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was good.
This is a movie I could watch again.
We need to. Actually, you all do. This movie is an absolute masterpiece classic. 10 out of 10.
It's really good. Check it out.
Okay. The next one is, once again, I'm going from one director to the next of my favorites, because that's what I do. And the next movie I want to talk about is a movie I forgot about. Excuse me.
My son.
No, it's all good. I really apologize. I'm sorry, but the show must go on, as they say.
Oh, killing
And
me, Will.
I'm a trooper, and Johnny and I have been at this with passion for the better part of going on 14 months, and we're 110 episodes in, probably 130 if we didn't all the technical issues where we lost episodes,
Which
mostly
is the-
because of my fault. Is at the end of the day, our passion is unrelenting, like our spirit and soul. Johnny and I, we love being a part of the Canadian Bro Show, and it brings great joy to us. And recently, the numbers have been increasing
Yeah, we
exponentially.
get
It's
subscribers, 150 now. I noticed today.
118, 119 now, and the short that I put out has over 1,000 of the 9 deer that visited my house yesterday. And
What?
apparently you can't say 9 deers unless there's 9 females. You have to say 9 deer because it's already plural. Someone commented, thank you for the comment, I appreciate that. And I took it very well because you're absolutely right. But it was, and he finished with I wish I could have a house where they would do that. Because it's like having your own petting zoo in the back of your quarter-acre house. My house is on a quarter-acre property. You don't pet deer. They have the black-legged
They have ticks.
ticks. That's what they're
Yeah.
called. And they're white-tailed deer. And believe me, if it was an apocalypse, there's 9 of them. I try to keep them in the property so I could harvest them for, if the society goes down. I would have a lot of really good meat.
Oh, Paul, you had to go there.
What? You got to survive.
You can eat Bambi?
No, I'll feed them. I'll take care of them. But I mean, if the stores close, what are you gonna do? If Amazon, I gotta,
You're practically-
And they're vegan, and I'm not. I'm Mediterranean. But anyways, so is it yours or mine?
No, you're up, bro.
Okay, so I'm gonna be coming down to my last one, and this movie I was trying to come up with something that people just wouldn't. I don't know. They don't know about it because we're quite old. Johnny and I are in our 60s, believe it or not. And this one is a twist when I saw in the 70s when I finally saw it. And one of the others that Johnny said might be the one he might do after. I hope he does. Because he showed me what his titles were so we wouldn't conflict. And that is, without a doubt, one of my favorite science fiction films of all time. Back in the 70s, Charlton Heston was the #1 actor in the world. and he was on fire. And I'm just going to mention 2 films that Johnny doesn't have on his list and let him do, hopefully, the one that he said he was going to do, which I think has one of the biggest twists I've seen in a science fiction film my entire life. And you know which one I'm talking about, Charlton Heston, that last scene on the beach. Yep. Anyways, so the film I'm talking about is Soylent Green.
Oh.
And Soylent Green, I can't remember who the director was, but I do remember I think it was 1974.
It was the same.
Sorry?
Franklin Schaefer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but of course. But it was also like one of my favorite old school actors' last movie. And his name escaped me, but Charlton Heston, of course, nobody could forget because he was like Ben-Hur and Omega Man and, a lot of other films I won't mention because Johnny's next film hopefully will be that one. And the Soylent Green is an amazing movie, and it was essentially in 1974. The film was supposedly filmed in 2055 in New York, in Manhattan. And there was 55 million people living on the island of Manhattan. 55 million, which is, it's impossible. And the world at this time, as a science fiction film in the 70s going into the future, was about overpopulation had depleted the resources of the planet in every conceivable way. Food, water, sun, rain, pollution. And it was totally dystopian, and it was incredibly, the foresight they had 4 or 5 decades before was incredible. And at the very end, I had no idea what was going on. Charlton Heston's a cop. And every Tuesday, they have something called Soylent Green. And Soylent Green are these crackers made of...
You don't want to say.
No, the crackers are made of, like, algae and seaweed. Because they have all of the amino acids. And, of course, this whole movie goes on, and it's only the elitists that have the money to be able to eat and have an apple or a piece of pie, have security. And every Tuesday, when Soylent Green comes out, the entire streets are filled. People are just trying to line up for their bag of what they look like graham crackers. Growing up in the 70s, graham crackers. I love graham crackers. But bananas and peanut butter and that would be like, I'm good for the afternoon. And of course, the fact that there's so many people in Manhattan, 55 million people, they had to bring these huge garbage can trucks.
Yeah. They're scooping people up.
And they scoop people up and take them away because there's so many people. But in the pandemonium of seeing this, nobody really clicks on to the twist. And I'll just leave it at that. Do yourself a favor. Sit down, turn off your phone, make some popcorn, get imbibed, whatever you need to do, and sit back and watch one of the best science fiction twist, fantasy, thriller movies I've ever seen in my life. And that's my last one, Johnny.
If Hannibal Lecter was a real person, it would be his favorite movie. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. I'm going to go with...
Spoiler alert, once again.
Johnny
can't help himself.
He's going to watch these movies. Some people will. Okay, I'm going to go with 1970s Beneath the Planet of the Apes, an American science fiction film directed by Ted Post II in the legendary Apes movie.
I thought you'd go with the first one.
Well, we talked about that one at the science fiction film episode.
I know, but people are not exactly
Okay. Well,
waiting in line to watch the show. I mean, we...
It should be.
Well, I mean, we're working on it, bro.
Okay. The film is the sequel to 1968's Planet of the Apes, the second installment. James Franciscus, Kim Hunter, Morris Evans. Charlton Heston returns as Taylor in a supporting role. He appears at the start and at the end. He kind of loses his mind in this one. In the film, the second spacecraft arrives on the planet ruled by apes, carrying astronaut Brent, who's searching for Taylor, played by Heston, only to realize that apes are not the greatest threat. This movie, the first half of this movie is kind of like a rehash of the first movie. It's not as good. It's almost like a TV movie. But then it goes into this wild sci-fi territory where the hero discovers this race of mutants who have telepathic powers. Like the writers must have been, I don't know what they were smoking back in the day, but the movie goes in a wild...
Whatever it was high quality.
Yeah, and I remember watching this movie with my parents as a kid on TV, and I was just scared out of my mind. And these mutants wear masks to conceal their radiation scars, and they're worshiping this bomb, which is a doomsday weapon, which was built to destroy the world. And then there's
This was the second one of the 70s. Man, I need to see that again. I don't remember most of that.
Boy, oh boy, the 70s filmmakers of the time, they really took a lot of risks.
Well, I mean, they also had 70 mil film, so you could make something spectacular out of something that was really quite average.
And the ending, and I wouldn't dream of giving away the ending, but it's absolutely it's absolutely one of the darkest and most nihilistic and most soul-crushing endings of all time. I don't think I slept for a week after watching this movie.
Wow, I'm gonna have to check that out. It sounds like something I'd like to
really
to watch before I go to bed.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best sequels of all time. Like I said, the first half is like, oh gosh, it's such a and then it just goes into really.
You know, it's amazing, John? We've talked about this so much. How difficult it is to have something so, a film that can transform you and captivate you and hold you, and then you think, wow, there's nobody can beat that, and then they come along and they beat it. It's really one of the most difficult things in cinema history, right?
It is a challenge. So are you done? Is that?
I am, yeah.
I have one more, and then I guess I'm done.
Please.
Okay, I'm going to go with... now, I talked this movie on another podcast. I'm scrolling down a little bit here. Okay, here we go. This is one of my absolute favorite movies. 1973's The Wicker Man. Directed by Robin Hardy and starring Edward Woodward. Some of our viewers might remember him as the Equalizer, the original Equalizer before Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
The staggeringly beautiful Britt Eklund.
Nice one there. Nice one.
Christopher Lee, who plays the villain as always. He's investigating, though the plot centers on the visit of a police officer, Sergeant Neil Howie, to the fictional isolated Scottish island of Summer Isle in search of a missing girl. Howie, devout Christian, is appalled to find that the inhabitants, boy, what a bunch of crazies, of the island have abandoned Christianity and now practice a form of Celtic paganism. And this movie has an ending that is raw and devastating. And again, the 1970s, it was probably the greatest era in the history of cinema in terms of art. I mean, I prefer movies to have happy endings, but I'm glad that I grew up in the generation where these movies existed, because again, they kind of made you think, and they kind of made you form your thoughts. And so that's my last one, The Wicker Man. It's absolutely amazing. It's
we brought that before. Now we've seen there's two different versions of The Wicker Man. You talk about the original one or the second one?
There was another one with Nicolas Cage.
Terrible.
Kind of comical.
Terrible. Just an absolute. He was just taking a paycheck to pay for his multiple properties.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I didn't see it, but I saw the montage where someone like puts a beehive.
Yeah, I saw The Wicker Man. I thought we talked about this. I saw it at the Capitol 6 or maybe in Coronet when it first came out, the original. And I thought it was interesting, but when I was younger, I just wanted popcorn and a Fanta and extra butter, and I didn't really care because I had to go to work right after. So that's what I used to do. I go to work, I go see a movie, and then I go to work and do it all over again. But I really enjoyed that, and it's a really interesting choice. I could imagine so many others. But Johnny, before we go, Johnny and I like to, if you've seen our show before, as you can see, the logo above Johnny's head is our subscribe button. We absolutely have been killing it. In the last week, we've had 8 new subscriptions, which is awesome. Really appreciate the people that have taken the time. Johnny and I have created an opportunity for us to continue to create really good, interesting content, certainly from our perspective, and bang them out. Yeah, we're going to put out 3. I'm going to try to put out 3 episodes a week, and then I'll do a couple of shorts. So be 2 or 3 legit episodes and maybe a couple of shorts. And I'm going to be doing this in the near future. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. And thank you, Johnny, for once again being a part of the Canadian Bro Show, the host with the most, next to our other host with the most, and that's Trent Rowley in St. Paul, Alberta. Trent, we love you. And Trent and I are going to be doing a new episode on the second iteration of the Canadian Bro Show, and that is all basketball from the Hoop Junkies, Pauly and Raleigh. And the first iteration that you're watching right now is our very first foray into creating my own YouTube channel. And Johnny and I have banged out 63, probably 73, but only 63 that are actually filmed because of my ineptitude when it comes to technology. I admit it. It's a challenge, but I'm learning, and I never stop learning. And thank you for joining us. And if you appreciate this content, it's a free YouTube channel. We'd certainly appreciate you subscribing, liking, and comment. Johnny and I will answer every single, and Trent will answer every single comment. And we love the feedback, positive or negative. I had a negative one based on my spelling, and I turned it around on positivity. And he goes, "Keep up the good work, bro." And hopefully we got a new subscriber, and I really appreciate that. In the meantime, everybody out there, before we go, I'm going to remove Johnny and I from the screen very briefly, just to show you our thumbnail. And this video is going to be released in the next 24 hours, 48 hours. We like to do a 7-day cycle on our videos before we add a new one. But this is, we are live. I'm in Kelowna. My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show, and my old friend of 53 plus years, Johnny Leister, the co-host with, another great episode. Thank you, Johnny, and thank you for being patient with all the things that we've been going through. But we're keep on grinding. We keep on believing in ourselves. And if you appreciate this, please subscribe, like, share, comment. And if you don't, that's fine. But we really appreciate it, and we're working hard. The goal is to get to 500 subscriptions, and then we can get monetized, and then I can maybe afford to find someone from myself, Johnny, or Rolly that has producing skills that can help us with the technical aspects of putting on a great show. But in the meantime, we're growing, we're learning, And the last thing I can say before we go is Johnny and I, we both like to remind people that if you could do anything positive in the rest of your day today, please be kind. Please reach out to someone and give them a hug. Say something positive. Help them across the street. Someone's at groceries. Help them. Just reach out and do something positive.
Set an example.
Set an example. It's free. It's kind. And that's what we do at the Canadian Bro Show. We'll see you next week.
Do we have time for a little reading?
I think, before we go, Johnny and I have been incorporating this last 6-7 episodes, and Johnny's a prolific writer. And you want to read your latest chapter? Give everybody a synopsis of what you're reading.
Thank
and
you so much,
a little detailed synopsis. And then after he reads that, we're going to do a pun.
Yes.
And then we'll close everything down. So, Johnny, let everybody know what your main focus of writing is.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm a self-published author. I write a series of crime fiction, private detective stories. My boy's name is Lee Hacklin. He's in his mid-20s. He's a smoker, a drinker, a ladies' man, and but he has a heart of gold, and he likes to help people. And I uploaded another one today to Draft to Digital, and this one is called Centerfold.
What's Draft to Digital, Johnny?
Thank you. Sorry. Draft to Digital is a website. It's a bit like Amazon. It's free. It's easy to use. It only takes a few minutes to set up. And what they do is once you posted a book, it springboards your book. Anybody out there wants to do this to different platforms. Cool. So all my stuff is on Barnes & Noble and Apple and 3 or 4 different platforms.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. Chapter 1. Coney Island, New York State, 1978. Tyler! Coney Island Beach was swarming with trunks and bikini-clad locals and tourists. It was July and hotter than Barbara Mandrell. I was sitting on a beach blanket with my beach baby. Beach baby, give me your hand, give me something that I can remember. A busty, bodacious, and belligerent law clerk.
Sounds like a 70s porn film.
Her name was Kitty Cat. That's a great porn actress name.
Wow, there we go.
There are some things you can't make up. A middle-aged woman in a muumuu was frantically waving her doughy arms at the Atlantic Ocean. A muscular, clueless, and oblivious lifeguard was writing on the back of a nubile gal's hand. I'll deal with you soon, pal. I stood and ran up to Mama Mumu. Ma'am? My Tyler! He's 12! He went for a swim and now I can't find him. I ran into the water submerged and espied a sinking boy clad in blue swimming trunks with a yellow stripe around his waist. He likes Superman. So do I. I wrapped my arms around him and kicked. Of all things, an effing shark torpedoed towards us, just when you thought it was safe to go into the water. I poked its unholy eyeball and it buggered off. Razor blades for teeth. Brrr. I carried a coughing but very much alive Tyler back to land. I handed him to his mother and she wept. Oh, you. I thought I warned you about the undertow. Are you all right? Yeah, Mom, I saw a shark. So cool. Just like Jaws. She put him down and embraced me. Thank you, sir. It's Lee. Don't mention it. I'm glad he's okay. The head up his ass lifeguard was still chatting with his next date. I sauntered up to him. Hello, hero. There's a shark in the ocean. You might want to close the beach and give Robert Shaw, a.k.a. Quint, a call. Oh, and may I offer an unsolicited suggestion? Pick another profession. You suck at this. I launched his balls into orbit. Kitty Cat was not impressed. She gathered her things. Oh, you're nothing but a troglodyte. I like nice men. We're over. I watched her wiggle her cute behind out of my life. Coney Island Beach erupted into a cacophony of cheers and applause. I took a bow. In life, we lose and we gain. And there is no better without the bitter. And that's chapter 1 of Centerfold Player. Thank you.
Wow, that's very good, Johnny. Once again, Johnny likes to read just a one-page synopsis of what he's working on a weekly basis. In the ticker below, there's, as Johnny mentioned, there's also, if you're interested in Johnny sharing some of his writing talents, just get a hold of us. Just let us know. Reach out to him on his Facebook and YouTube channel and everything else that he shared. Johnny, that's excellent. And before we finish, you like a pun.
I do.
Johnny likes puns. For those that don't know what a pun is,
a pun is a play on words.
It's a play on words. Thank you, Johnny.
This pun is very appropriate for the theme of today's podcast. Here we go. What does The Sixth Sense and Titanic have in common? I see dead people. You're welcome.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's true.
He's pretty underwhelmed by his reaction.
No, I mean, what I want to do is I just want to go. And it was a bit later because the talent is so profound that everybody needs at least 30 seconds of fresh air and to really conceptualize exactly what just fell out of your mouth. And hopefully that is something like this. I know, it's incredible, eh? It's the technology at the Canadian Bro Show is unbelievable.
We run an episode of Bewitched.
I love that show. I used to watch it all the time.
Sam!
Not because it was the best show on the TV, because she was very, very easy on the eyes. Even as a very young man. If I had my own special genie, I would like to have her. If I could. That's what I was wishing back then, and it didn't happen. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining. And everybody, we're closing down. We're almost at an hour. Thank you, Johnny. Welcome to the Canadian Bro Show. We appreciate anything that you can do. Subscribe, like, and comment, and share. And we're putting out 2-3 episodes a week, and we're growing slowly but surely. And we are the Canadian Bro Show. My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show, and this handsome gentleman in the toque next to my left shoulder and your right is none other than the very talented Mr. Johnny Leister. Johnny, thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, everybody, be kind out there. Be generous and do something nice. Laugh, smile, and take care of yourself. We are going to close this down.
Thank you.
Yeah, no.